Hello, once again. We're here on the Metismatters radio show, come to you from downtown Vancouver. My name's Ken Fisher. It is, like I said, the Metismatters radio show, and we're going to talk to you today about various Métis issues. And of course, as usual, we have two guests in the studio from the CCMC. I'll introduce them in a minute, but I find it ironic that there's an open invitation to the members of the Métis Nation BC, all 8 or 9 members of the board, and they refuse to come in, or they just don't show up. And we need to have them in here to do some explaining to the Métis public right across the province. And of course, if they come in, I think it really settled things down if they came in. But I guess with the upcoming MNGA later this weekend, it's maybe too late. But maybe they can still phone in. So I'll give out the phone number before we go any further. The phone number to call if you have a question or a comment. As usual, it's 604-684-7561. 604 is the area code. 684-7561. And of course, now I'll introduce my two guests in the studio. On my left is the well-known spokesperson for the CCMC, that's the Coalition of Concerned Métis Citizens, Mr. Keith Henry. How are you, Keith?
Good. Thanks, Ken, for having us. And of course, this is the an important week as we get ready for the Métis Nation Governing Assembly, and citizens across the province are going to be watching. And I'm pleased to announce that despite efforts, or I guess I shouldn't say efforts, but the coalition is going to be webcasting the entire MNGA on our website over the duration of the weekend. And of course, the only thing that would stop that is if the Governing Assembly goes in camera after some sort of hidden agenda about people not wanting to be transparent to the citizens across this province at a Governing Assembly. There's absolutely no law or legislation that would prevent that. So we've gone ahead and we've made arrangements, and we're going to webcast the entire Métis Nation Governing Assembly.
That is interesting because, 4 or 5 years back at the annual General Assemblies of the Métis Nation, there was video available.
Yeah, there was video as far as I know. Up until the last one they released in terms of a video was 2009 would have been, so it's been a couple of years. But they've never actually webcast the Governing Assembly. But the coalition, under our own resources and our own technicians, we're going to do it ourselves because we want people to see how their leadership is voting across this province.
Very good.
The quality of the debate and the issues that are talked about, so people can make their own decisions as part of what we've been doing from day one, is to educate the public.
Yeah, that's very admirable that you can do that without what seems to be very little resources compared to what they have at their disposal.
Oh yeah, everything we've done at the coalition, I can't stress that enough, has been on volunteer basis, our own personal pocketbooks, our own investments, because there's a number of us in the coalition that believe in supporting our nation, and that it makes sure it's accountable and transparent. That's our stated goal, and we will not stop until we reach that, until people start it. And I think that is maybe a bit of a segue into what happened last Friday. The coalition talked about we all heard about the Valley Vixen roller derby girls and the school being improperly zoned and being used improperly, in our opinion, against the bylaws, and we made that public last Friday.
That was the roller derby women from Abbotsford, right?
Yeah, and I mean, again, I'm sure Daryl can chime in on this, but for me, we're not against roller derby. We're not against women having a sport, but what we are against is unethical advertising, and on their website, as MNBC being a partner, saying that people can advertise, on their rear ends of the girls. I think it's absolutely shameful that our nation is even involved in supporting that kind of ethics, and I think it's disgusting.
Okay, Mr. Daryl Piper, on my right, your comments or on this latest
and of course, again, Ken, thanks for having us again. I do appreciate it. And again, this with the Abbotsford School and the roller derby girls, again, I can't stress enough about that's, you're breaching or violating the bylaws and you choose to do so. I mean, it frustrates me to no end. And I just feel it's wrong. And, as Keith was talking about, we're all here on our own money. We don't have any sponsorship of any kind, any shape or form.
Yeah, but wasn't the idea, though, is to have their own facility and save money by holding the event at their own place?
Providing it's legal.
Yeah, well, I think that was originally how the school was sold in 2009. Let's step back a minute. So when the school was sold to the citizens, and it really was sold after they already bought it, so I don't think that was appropriate. But regardless, we're here today. So when MNBC touted about the school, as you said, Ken, they said, oh, the school's going to save money, it's going to have the AGM, the MNGA, et cetera, et cetera. Many people have been contacting the city of Abbotsford for the last year and a half about what the school can actually do. It's zoned under the city of Abbotsford bylaws as an industrial trade school and nothing else.
I see.
Nothing else. And in fact, I can confirm today for the listeners, I've had a discussion today with the city of Abbotsford myself, and under the discussion, the following steps are going to happen. MNBC has been put on notice that within 60 days that the roller girls have to be gone from the facility.
Right.
They also have been put on notice that they're going to be meeting with the director next week to clarify what the zoning bylaws are, so that they understand that the school wasn't intended to be a governing office and the rest of it. And I guess there's other steps. And in fact, the city has assured us that they're going to let us know what the outcomes are of those meetings with MNBC next week. We didn't want the MNGA or the Spirit Festival to be canceled, but what we want is our nation to follow law.
I guess what I was wondering is, we at the Nova Métis Heritage Society want to rent that place to hold a big dance. Would that be legal?
No. No, you can't. You can't.
I thought that was the idea that you were pitching about.
Well, you're right, Ken.
We could use our own school for our own advantage, and we could have a heck of a good time at next to nothing.
Yeah, well, you know what? And that's what the problem is. Unfortunately, people have misled you and many others across this nation, and that's why we've been so upset about it. The bylaws are very clear. The city of Abbotsford confirmed it. The business inspector confirmed that to me today. Over the phone.
What, are they clamping down or something?
Oh, absolutely. They said in fact, that's why I'm led to believe yet again, still through the phone call today, why MNBC had to move the registry and finance and that out of there, because it wasn't zoned for those things. This is a trade school. That's all it can be used for, nothing else. So unless your activity can be understood that it's somehow related to the trade school for training or whatever, it shouldn't be there. I mean, they made that very clear. It's not for Bruce Dumont's wedding last summer. It's not for governing assemblies. It's not for Henry Hall's alleged wedding coming up right away.
We had the AGM there.
That's right, and it shouldn't. In fact, the call I had, they said that, well, that's not necessarily what that school's for, and it's not. It's very much not a part of the bylaws, and the discussion I had was very clear. The media are following this. We've made it very clear about
while
this.
You were in discussion with these people from do you know if they have paid the taxes yet?
They haven't paid the taxes yet. They still owe the municipal taxes of $125,000, being charged interest every day. And in fact, I don't know if the listeners know, we've been talking about, that's one of the 6 sort of issues together, the role of the school and these taxes and the finance. The other tax, the property transfer tax, MNBC lost their appeal. Now I repeat, they lost their appeal for the $106,000 on the property transfer tax, and now they set up some payments repayment plan with to deal with this. And what is outstanding as of today, I don't know. All I know is that they've lost the appeal.
That will. It sounds like that will only serve to increase the deficit.
Well, it will. It's another $106,000. Our point of our deficit recovery plan is that the citizens and the MNGA members, like yourself as one of the community leaders, may not realize how much other debt we don't even know about. And this is one of the key issues we've brought up.
Sounds like you're sinking into a hole there.
Well, they aren't. Well, what? And you know what I want to ask of the MNBC board. Of course, I don't have a voice at the MNGA. I sure wish I did, and I hope that the coalition is put on the MNGA agenda, and we've made that very public. But I'd love to ask. So if they've been renting it out to the Valley Vixens,
Valley Roller Derby,
where is the money? I've gone through their financial statements. I cannot, and in fact, if you recall, MNBC sent out a financial statement about the alleged revenue for the Métis school shortly after our last annual general meeting. There was absolutely no verification of any lease money coming from this supposed lease relationship. So, you know, what else is going on there that we don't know, that they're not being accountable to the citizens for?
Yeah, it seems like quite a system. Anyway, wouldn't it be nice if Bruce Dumont or Dave Hodgson, Bruce is the president of MNBC and Dave Hodgson is the vice president, or anyone else who's in charge out there, to give us a call here, 604-684-7561, and explain to the many Métis listeners across the province just what is going on and how they're going to get themselves out of this deep hole of almost bottomless pit of debt. And they don't seem to be doing anything like putting into place an austerity program to cut back on expenses.
No, in fact, what did we hear? We saw the recent announcement they've just hired 4 new staff. And, you know, and I can hear it already. We got money for this. Well, you know what? There shouldn't be any. What we need to start dealing with budgets in the Métis Nation is, as I've been saying last week, and Daryl and I have been out there in the community talking about it. It's got to be on cost certainty, not cost estimates. Well, these people, what are they going to do economic development for? I mean, there's no money to invest. There's nothing there. So how are we going to get out of this mess we're in? And so we hire 4 people. I mean, it's astonishing to me as a business. I consider myself a fairly decent entrepreneur. I've run many projects, I've got companies off the ground now. I mean, I cannot believe the stuff and the contradictions I see our people doing at the Métis Nation BC.
But they seem to be going about their business like nothing's wrong.
Well, it's nothing wrong that we know about. And I can't stress that enough. We may not know about it. Are they living off the employment and training quarterly installments? Like, somehow they're generating enough cash flow to keep the organization going. You got to remember, this is a big machine. It's $12 million a year roughly, so they can cash manage a lot of those needs on a Band-Aid basis. But at the end of the day, when someone's got to zero this out and figure out where we're at the end of each fiscal year, just like we did last year, well, lo and behold, wham, we're $1.3 million in debt last year alone. So I don't see a single cut being made. I haven't seen the board come out with their debt recovery plan. In fact, they haven't put anything on publicly, and they expect you as an MNGA member, one of the 35, to come in this weekend and say, okay, well, it looks all good, sounds good, let's just go for it, and let's just all sing Kumbaya and walk out of here hand in hand.
Well, I'd go a step further. As the president of one of the bigger, if not the biggest, Métis local charter communities in BC, we're not getting really anything from them to sustain us and keep us in the fold, so to speak, and make sure that they support their charter communities. Instead, it almost seems like they're attacking the charter communities and trying to take them out and bring in new people just out of the blue.
Well, can I just make one point on that? You know, I find it ironic when MNBC says to the people, we're all the MNBC. No, we're not, actually. You know, I don't know if people realize this, but in our Constitution, you know who the MNBC is? 11 individuals. The president, the vice president, the youth, the women, and the 7 board of directors, the regional directors. That's it. That's what our Constitution defines as the MNBC. So I guess, excuse me if I seem emotionally passionate about this, but I'm tired of listening to rhetoric, but we should all care about the nation, because the fact is, the nation, according to our own Constitution, is only 11 people.
Anyway, when you and I and Daryl get out there this week, I suppose there's going to be a way of finding out who's supporting who. There's approximately 34 presidents, and if half of them vote in favor of this or that, or the resolutions and stuff like that, who knows what's going to happen? It could end up with this whole could be almost a non-confidence vote in what the 8 or 9 board members are doing at the MNBC. So give us a call down there, Bruce. Come on, Bruce, Dave. Pick up that phone, 604-684-7561. We've got to break it for music now, if you don't mind. We'll be back shortly, right after a lovely tune by Corey Patra. The first one you heard was Big John McNeil, everybody's favorite. Now we're going to hear number 12, Whiskey Before Breakfast. We'll be right back.
Sorry, I get on a rant.
Okay, here we are back on the Metismatters radio show after that lovely tune by Corey Patra, a young fella from just east of Edmonton in Alberta there. And, of course, we'll be bringing you more music, but right now we're going to turn our attention back to our two guests in the studio today. But once again, we want to invite your phone calls, 604-684-7561. Give us a call and let us know what you think of what you're hearing here or anything. Do you want to know what's going on this weekend, where it's at and when it's at? All you have to do is give us a call here. We'll bring you up to date. But meanwhile, we're going to talk about a couple of things, and of course the consequence of the Métis Nation Governing Assembly. For people that don't know, all the presidents, and I think there are 34 or 35 of them, we don't even know how many are going to be there. And then the 8 or the 9 board members are the only people that are going to be sitting around the main table and being able to vote at this assembly. So the consequence of that was it is 34, 44, 44 people, 22 or 23 people. It's the simple majority plus one will win the day, I believe. Anyway, we're glad somebody's phoning in, so I'll go right to the lines. Go ahead, caller. You're on the air.
Hi, Ken. It is Sherry Parisian calling in.
Sherry Parisian. Yeah, thanks for the call. We heard from you a couple of weeks ago, and they said they were inundated by calls after you phoned in. The MNBC said that, and I wonder how that could be.
I don't know. The calls that I've received throughout the province and support, I was really surprised myself, and I have to say there's a lot of support behind me coming forward.
Well, they seem to try and make it out like you really dropped a bombshell there.
Well, I did drop a bombshell on them, but I didn't release any I didn't release the name of the MNGA president, whatnot. I did state the register what she did about falsifying that document, and people have asked, did you remove out of the registry? And no, I didn't remove any files. When you look at a document, a file for a year on and off, you start to remember dates and places and birthdays.
Yeah,
documents like that. That's what you know.
Well, the thing is, it's 2 weeks since you made that call, and has anything happened that's really nasty or anything? Or
I did submit a letter to the minister responsible for the registry, Terry Anderson.
Okay.
Placing my concerns in regards to President Dumont and the registrar. I'm hoping that he will bring it forward to the rest of the board of directors so that it's not shoved under, it's not hidden anymore. It's out there, I hope. But I just want to say I'm really sorry. This has nothing to do with Keith Henry. Keith Henry never encouraged me whatsoever. He didn't know about this for me to bring this forward.
And I didn't either.
No, and you as well. And, and I'm sorry that, people are trying to blame me too for it, or the coalition. This had nothing to do with the coalition. This had nothing to do with you or Keith Henry.
Absolutely.
It had to do with me. This has been a secret of mine for 2 years, almost 3 actually. 3 and 1 I investigated it privately, never told anyone. And the last 2 years I kept it to myself, except with those people that knew like President Dumont.
Well, you wanted to keep your job because you can't speak out.
Yes, I couldn't, But I came forward just for myself, and also I need the rest of the province to know that, hey, our registry, it used to be number 1, but it no longer is.
Well, I looked at our own registry from Nova, and we're still hovering about 460 or 470 members who have citizenship cards, and I thought there sure is very slow progress there. I wonder what they're doing down there.
Yeah.
Well, Sherry, it's Keith here. Just want to thank you for calling in. I'm certainly glad you called to follow up, and I just want to ask you a question if I can.
Sure.
So you said, if I heard you correctly, that you filed a complaint with the minister, MNBC minister responsible for registry. I believe you said his name. It was Terry Anderson, right?
That's correct. I went online and I actually wanted to see who was the minister now, and it actually is Terry Anderson. And this was shortly after I came on the show and that. And, I wanted to call him, but I thought, no, I think I should have a paper trail here because talking verbally, it doesn't work with these people.
No.
Yeah.
No, I just want to say that was I congratulate you for using. I'm assuming you said you looked online. How did you decide how to file the complaint? Did you look at the MNBC board manual for their policies and procedures?
I did, and copy and paste, and add my own, and it took me a while, and restructuring it over and over and over, but I actually finally got it out there. So
good for you, because I do know that the board manual does have an expected standard of care, and I'm assuming that's the language you used. And what that policy says for the listeners is that when the board if there's an allegation against a board member, and in this case, if I heard Sherry correctly, against Bruce himself, I believe this is so. In this case, what he should do is, or the executive should be doing right now, since that was filed. When did you send the letter?
Oh gosh, this was not too long ago after I came on the radio show. I just felt that I had to send something personally to him, because he is the minister responsible for the registry. He doesn't know what's went on, and I'm sure he wasn't told that this all took place. Like, I'm sure the rest of the board wasn't told. I mean, with staff members calling me, and they knew it was a file, but they didn't actually know it was their staff member's file, her family file. So, I mean, I like people say that they were inundated with calls. That's really hard to believe, because what I get back from the staff is that I don't know. It's
well, Sherry, if I can say something, I think what I would you're coming to the MNGA this weekend.
Oh yeah, and if people have questions, I'm going to be forthcoming.
Well, please know you've got support of a lot of Métis citizens, including the coalition, and please know that I assume MNBC will try, President Dumont, for obvious reasons, will try and make some legal maneuver at the MNGA in front of everyone to, I guess, show how he can flex his muscle. But I'm going to tell you right now that to stand your ground, and you're going to get support from a lot of people, because this is absolutely unacceptable. And if it's true, first of all, the investigation of Bruce, as far as what I can hear you saying, is very, very, very serious. And if a president is intervening in the registry process, which was specifically dealt with I was there when we tried to implement the registry, that was the number one issue we had to deal with and considering risks to the system. So if that's true, that board better be working right now, if that complaint was filed last week, to deal with it. There's a process the provincial board should be following, and if it's found to have legitimacy, again, in this case, Bruce should step aside and take a leave of absence until the process is completed and investigated independently. Now, we all know with a smile on our face that that's never going to happen, but that's the way the policies are written, if anyone actually reads it. And I encourage people to go look. I mean, I've been talking about our issues in terms of governance and the 6 issues of the coalition. This is another example. We just talked about the school bylaws not being followed at all, and I've got that confirmed today. This situation is the same thing. So congratulations, Sherry. I know that you got a lot of people behind you.
With President Dumont, and I know he's listening, what he needs to realize before he serves me those papers is that I wasn't the only one sitting in that room.
Yeah, well,
I wasn't the only staff member when all this took place. So if we're going to go to court, and the court, people are going to get subpoenaed, there's going to be other people besides President Dumont and Joe Gerlich and Dave Hodgson, because there were others in that room. I won't name those people because this is my issue. But
Sherry, it's Daryl here, and I just want to thank you on behalf of the coalition as well. And I support you 100%. And I know how difficult it is when you have to stand up and do what's right. It's not an easy position to be in, and I know that you are being chastised for that, but at the same time, you have 100% support from all of us.
And exactly, Sherry, just on that piece, there's no point really talking about it too much further, but just to let you know, in our case, they're trying to, as you know, take Daryl and I to court, and it's the same thing. They seem to forget that when you get into court, it's not kangaroo court. We can subpoena information, we can subpoena all sorts of stuff, and I don't think they've thought it through on a lot of this stuff. And so don't be afraid. Don't think. Yeah. So these, and I hope
very courageous. I think.
Yeah. I think they underestimate this Métis woman anyway.
Well, and I think that
She's a strong Métis woman, right, to fight for Métis rights.
Right. Well, the bottom line here is with all of this is that Sherry and people, all of us, the grassroots, this nation is about the community and culture, and this stuff we're talking about is so unfortunate. We've sunk to this level.
I know.
And it's not the coalition taking you to court, or it's not a coalition taking me to court. It's MNBC doing all this stuff.
Yeah.
So I only thank you, Sherry, and I just want to say that just hang in there, and I look forward to seeing you this weekend.
Okay, thanks for the call. We'll see you out there this weekend there.
And you all take care.
Okay.
Starting on Thursday or Friday.
Probably Saturday.
Well,
Yeah. That's a good segue there, Ken. I'm going to jump in on that. Remember, Sherry and all listeners, the coalition is having a pre-meeting on Thursday night at the Best Western Regency in Abbotsford on Marshall Road. I forget the exact number right now.
30112, I
Yeah,
believe.
30112 Marshall Road in Abbotsford, Best Western Regency, from 7 till 10 o'clock at night. We're going to put a little cultural performance on with Beverly Lambert and some folks, and we are going to go through our blueprint document and our debt recovery plan, so people can ask us questions about our 26 action items and recommendations. So if there's any questions, we invite the M&J members and all Métis citizens to come here firsthand. Don't listen to the rumor mill. Come ask us what's going on.
Absolutely. Come out and get the truth.
I will.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Okay, now this is Ken Fisher on the Métis Matters radio show on CFRO 102.7 FM. And now it's time out for a musical interlude. Now, speaking of Bev Lambert, who's going to be jigging out there and this weekend, showing the Métis culture and history, Métis culture particularly, we have a CD that she brought in, a woman named Millie Hudson singing a song, and Bev brought this in for to play on the May radio show. This one is called May You Never Be Alone Like Me. Let's hear it.
Like a bird that's lost its mate in flight, I'm alone and oh so blue tonight. Like a piece of driftwood on the sea, may you never be alone like me. So blue, all because I love no one but you. I gave up my friends, I left my home. When you promised to be mine alone, now you're gone, our love could never be.
Okay, well, like it says, may you never be alone like me. Well, I hope you're not alone out there in Radio Land, sitting in your lonely little room listening to the Métis Matters radio show. But if you are, cheer up. There's going to be big doings out in the Abbotsford area this weekend. The MNGA, that stands for Métis Nation Governing Assembly, Keith and Darrell and myself and a few other presidents from right across BC and a few unexpected people are going to be there, and of course the board of directors. So this will be your chance to see how the board of directors treats their grassroots presidents. So this is what you should come. It's at the school, 30691 Simpson Road in Abbotsford. If you need any more information, you can always check the mnbc.ca website or give us a call at the Nova Métis Heritage Office in Surrey, 604-634-0119. Now, what do you think overall? Is there anything else that you want to add?
No, I mean it's the 11th hour, and we've at the coalition we've set our recommendations out. We're hoping that we get on the MNG agenda so that the community leaders can actually the MNG members themselves can actually have some alternative solutions. We think that MNBC will show up with a document in terms of a debt recovery. Everyone needs to remember MNBC's financial statements last year passed subject to a approved debt recovery plan by the Métis Nation Governing Assembly.
5 months ago they promised
That's right.
that.
So that in effect only is a conditional pass. It's actually not fully passed yet, and only until the MNG members themselves pass it does that actually dealt with. The ramifications of that not being passed could be financial with government partners, could be all sorts of things. So
you took the words right out of my mouth, because I'm going to look at. I'm sure that the government funders, provincially or federally, will be looking at their performance.
Well, and let's think of this, Ken. I mean, it's been 5 months. I was at the AGM that we had in September at the school, and it was the claims made by MNBC leadership and management was the debt recovery plan would be out shortly. And, people would have a chance to, I guess, look at it or whatever. Here we are, just days away from the MNGA. And you know what they're going to do? They're going to slap a nice-looking document in front of you guys, and they're going to say, no, just trust us. You should vote this. You should put this through. That's why the coalition went and did our own debt recovery plan and our own blueprint, because we want people to know that there's more than one way to deal with things.
A copy of which you have brought in today, and of course you're going to have copies of this debt recovery plan. It said the blueprint document, building a new foundation for our future. A recommended strategy plan developed by the coalition of concerned Métis citizens. This is what if they were to look at your blueprint and adopt everything in it? Would that be good?
That would be good. Absolutely. We've made a number of recommendations, and we've gone under the assumption that chances of MNBC resigning are slim to none. So we hope that the MNGA members will mandate this plan to the MNBC Board of Directors for the next 19 months. Otherwise, the ramifications of this, of their continued spending, will mark the end of the nation. Mark my words.
Well, what do you think of the fact that Melanie Langthorne, the CEO, has pretty well resigned, or she didn't resign, her contract was up. That's a nice way of saying that she's not there anymore, but the point is, what is the legacy of what she's left behind?
Well, I think she'll go down, unfortunately, in the history of the Métis Nation as one of the administrators who left the biggest debt in all of Canada. I cannot think of an executive director or CEO that has left an organization this far in debt in such a short time.
Yeah, but don't forget who's her boss, as they say.
Well, that's what I'm saying. She, unfortunately, I do think that she carries a lot of that, because she was very outspoken to me personally many times about how great this school was going to be, and all it's going to bring all this. I mean, money was ready to be, we were going to start cutting checks the next day, if I heard correctly the first time. The fact is, she's not alone. This board of directors is ultimately responsible for how they let this happen. And you can call it all you want. At the end of the day, we are in big financial trouble. And people can look at our blueprint document. It's available on our coalition site. And I can only tell people, get educated on this issue. There's only a few more days, and please show up. I'm telling people, show up in the gallery to make sure those board of directors at the MNBC and those MNGA members know that the days of governance that isn't accountable and transparent are done. We can never let this happen again.
Well, there seems to be an inference out there that a lot of the presidents that are coming in to vote somehow just don't get it.
No. I actually firmly believe that that's right, Ken, and I think a lot of presidents have been misled that this is all some personal political attack. I mean, we need people to start asking questions like, well, why would the CCMC do this if they didn't care about the nation? Why would we go out and write a plan that says, if they don't resign, mandate them to do this plan? We don't want the MNBC to crumble. We just want these people to be put in handcuffs for the time being.
We want them to prosper. We want them to prosper. We want them to keep digging for more money for programs and services for the Métis. And I don't know, since 2008, I don't think there's no progress, as we've been regressing since then.
Well, we've done the finances on some of this, and it's we allude to it in the document. Community investments have gone down substantially. Like, what money do the communities get anymore? What cultural investments do you get to help support Louis Riel Day? There's none of this stuff is going on. So, I mean, all this stuff is gone. So why is it gone? The money hasn't really necessarily dropped all that much, but what they have done clearly is they are going ahead and taking what they have, and they're doing what they want without really telling people what's going on.
Right. Well, anyway, on that note, Keith, I know you got to go.
I just want to say thank you, Ken. I mean, this to me is a big weekend, and no matter what happens, we've already won. No matter what happens this weekend, we've shown everyone, and I've shown this with Daryl, and I thank Daryl publicly and the coalition support, the executive team, that we went through all 7 regions. Mm-hmm. We've spent tens of thousands of dollars of our own money to do this. And Absolutely. So anyone who thinks that we didn't care along the way better wake up. And if anyone says that to me this weekend, they're going to have a really strong response back to them.
Absolutely, because there are still some blind faithful out there that don't seem to want to listen. Anyway, right back to the lines for a moment. Go ahead, caller. You're on the air with a question or comment, perhaps?
Hello, Ken, and everybody. I made it, finally.
You made it. What did you make?
Arlene Bitterman here, made it down south.
Oh, you mean you've driven down already to the upcoming MNGA?
No, I just left a couple hours ago, and it was minus 30 up north, so I'm here.
Well, it's plus 10 here.
Yeah, I know. It's cold. It's almost a shock down here.
Well, Arlene, it's good to hear your voice. You're down for the MNGA, hey?
I sure am, yeah.
Well, that's good. So what's your predictions for this weekend?
Well, I'm there to help support...
okay, I'll re-ask my question. So what's your predictions for this weekend?
Well, I hope that the presidents actually see what the issues are, and my prediction is there's a lot of informed presidents out there, and that is my prediction.
Yeah, but what if there's a motion of non-confidence in the board of directors? Would they be able to vote for themselves?
Well, I'm going to answer this. No, they shouldn't be, because according to most governance organizations, when there's a financial interest at stake, you should not be voting on that matter. MNBC themselves, those board members, have spent $700,000 a year on themselves. So what? Now we're going to say, should you have a non-confidence vote in yourself and take away $700,000? How can we honestly think there people are going to say, yes, I'm going to vote against this? I have faith in people like you and the community leaders. If they know the issues, they can make the right vote on our behalf of our citizens.
Well, I really feel like, particularly from the Nova Metis Heritage Association, we have 2,000 members. It's nothing but neglect of our members. We have not getting the feedback from our regional director or the board of directors. It's just absolutely nothing happening. Discouragement. I have to keep the morale up by telling people, hey, there's light at the end of the tunnel, but somehow they don't believe me.
So, Arlene, are you still there?
Yeah. No, there's no difference for us up in the north here, Ken. So,
what's happening in the north?
Well, there's lack of support for Northern Métis for all the issues that's going on up there. You know, we really need economic development. There's so much activity going on around us, but really no support for Métis to get their foot in the door. So,
Darlene, do you think people from the Northeast will get in their vehicles and come attend a school in Abbotsford?
Well, it's pretty hard to. It took me, if I had to fly, it was an hour down here, but it's a good 2-day drive if you have to do by vehicle. So
do you not think it would be more cost effective to train your youth in your backyard with all the good colleges you have there?
Oh, exactly. Like the North Lakes College is accredited for one, and that's the kind of trades and training that the children need for getting into the trades around the north. So
the people from Northeast Media Association and Fort St. John will not be coming? Is that what you said?
No, they'll be there, I believe.
Okay. Yeah. No, just for myself, Arlene, I do have to go here, and I do thank Ken. I was just saying thank you, but I want to let you again reinforce that, I hope that the members of the Nova Métis Heritage Association, the board members, and the citizens realize there is a way forward. We've put it together in terms of a blueprint document, and I have to stress to everyone, this wasn't put together because Keith and Daryl and the CCMC executive thought this was the right plan. If everyone remembers, we went and talked to over 300 Métis people to get to this plan. It wasn't just ourselves. What has MNBC done with their plan to consult with anyone? They've gone behind closed doors created that, didn't educate people about the issues, and now they're going to show up at the MNGA with no advance notice and have all you guys rubber stamp something. It's absolutely ridiculous. I can't believe, I hope they're listening. Shame on every single last one of those board of directors that is sitting there in their homes right now pretending that everything's fine.
I'm sure they're sitting there quite nervous at the moment.
Well, no, I'm being very serious about this. They have the nerve to tell companies how to consult with our community when these people don't know a thing about consulting their own people. I mean, it's absolutely unbelievable in this day and age we're allowing this to happen.
And you haven't even mentioned public relations.
Well, what public relations? I mean, the public relations we have today is ridiculous.
It's
I mean,
non-existent.
I walk in many Aboriginal business circles, and I'm going to tell you right now, our public image is horrible right now. And if anyone out there, we can fix it, but we have to start with small steps to success. And the way that happens right now is we stop foolishness like the Valley Vixens and advertising at our school. We turn that into a center of excellence as the best we can, since we own it now, and we implement the blueprint document with the recommendations. The answers are there for everyone if they would just put down their political agendas and realize they got to think about the people, not themselves.
Do you suppose the board has copies of these?
Well, they're going to be given a copy at the MNGA. We've made extra copies. We've made over 150 copies of this package. We're going to hand out to all the MNGA members at our pre-meeting. We want people to understand that we can get through this together. It'll be tough, but we can do it, but we got to start doing it now.
Special meeting Thursday night.
Thursday night, 7 till 10. We've put on the coffee and some entertainment, and we sure hope everyone shows up. Even if you don't support what we're saying, come ask us the tough questions. Give us a chance to inform you about the issues. The zoning bylaw thing I talked about earlier in the show is absolutely unbelievable that I'm getting that kind of a call from the city of Abbotsford saying these sorts of things. I mean, it's unreal.
I see. Okay, well, thanks for coming in, Keith. I know you got to go to another appointment. And on that note, we'll see you out there this Thursday.
Proud to be Métis, Mr. Fisher.
Me too. I'm proud to be Métis, and we'll let Daryl take over in your place. So Keith's on his way, and of course we have Erlene Bitterman on the phone. Any last comments before we cut you off there, Erlene?
One more comment is one major identifiable issue is communication, and I'm down here to assist that. So.
Okay, very good.
We'll see you at the MNGA, Ken.
And having that video of all the events will be certainly nice for all the folks that can't make it to be able to watch it online.
You betcha. Have a good night.
Thanks again. Bye-bye. Right now we're going to turn our attention right back to music. We're going to hear off a CD. It's called Real Métis, a tribute to Walter Plett. We're going to hear a number called White-tailed Deer, Migrating Canadian Geese. Let's hear it. It's the Metismatters radio show here on CFRO 102.7 FM, and you just heard White-tailed Deer along with Migrating Canadian Geese by Real Métis off a CD called Real Métis, a tribute to Walter Flett, the late great fiddler Walter Flett, and I picked that up in Ottawa a couple of years back. Somebody gave it to me, says play this on your show for your listening public, and that's what I'm doing. Anyway, like I said, my name's Kent Fisher. This is the Metismatters radio show. You can reach us anytime after this show by phoning 604-634-0119 at the Nova Métis Heritage Association office in Surrey. We have the machine on if we're not there, the voicemail, so you can phone us. We're usually in there Tuesday and Friday, although this Friday I'm afraid we're going to have to shut it down because we're going out to the Métis Nation Governing Assembly way out there in Abbotsford because we're part of it. I'll be representing, as the president of the Nova Métis Heritage Association, I'll be representing our membership out there and bringing issues to the floor of the MNGA, the Métis Nation Governing Assembly, along with, I'm expecting 33 to 35 more other presidents who will be voting on different issues out there. So, Darrell, you being the vice president, I believe, of the Vancouver Métis Cultural Society, what are your plans and what are you guys going to be doing?
Well, we're going to be attending it. Russ Roy is our president, and he'll be out there dealing with the issues. And the big thing that we had was we've had a board meeting since just before
your AGM.
Since our AGM, and the big thing now that people are asking us, and some of our citizens have been phoning and asking about the debt recovery plan. And again, I've heard through talking to a couple of the other presidents who have said that they've inquired. And they've learned that apparently the MNBC is only going to be dealing with this today, the 16th. They're going to be going over the debt recovery. So my question is, when do we get it, Ken?
Well, I would think the financial department and other people that they can hire have to put together a debt recovery plan if they hope to have the financials finally approved. The financials, so all the documents, the auditing of the auditor from last September need to be approved by the MNGA, and if not, they're going to be in trouble.
My problem is now, how do I get this to my board to look at this and to give Russ and to tell Russ what they want him to do? They want him to approve it. Do they want to? We have to look at this thing first. We have to.
Somebody's got to pick it apart.
Well, we have to look and see
if it has.
Is there any merit here? Do they have something to offer us?
Well, I'm sure that they're going to have proper people in there to try and put something together. I'm sure, but as you know, the Coalition of Concerned Métis Citizens already has a plan in place. Being had it in place. It's called the Blueprint document. This is being sent out. I assume MNBC Board of Directors would have access to this if they want to look at it.
Well, they certainly do.
I'm sure they won't adopt every part of it, but it would be a good advice to them to look at this seriously.
Now, this blueprint, I want to add what I want to tell you about this blueprint. This was from all of the citizens here, the grassroots citizen, through all of our 7 regional sessions. Yeah. So this is from the people.
I've read it. It makes a lot of sense. But, maybe there's a lot of things we don't know because Métis Nation BC has not been telling everybody what's going on out there. And, of course, since the last AGM, Annual General Meeting, in September, 5 months here we go this weekend to try and find out and get some answers from them. So I hope that it works out.
Hopefully we can get some answers this weekend.
Exactly. And so right now we're going to play a number by Jess Lee. It's called the Red River Cart, I believe it is. So let's hear that. We'll be right back.
No more Métis land, no more buffalo. a way of life that's come and gone, like a piece of my heart gone with the Red River cars. I can hear it playing, that old fiddle song, that dancing melody, it'd never be gone, like a piece of my heart gone with the Red River cart. That Red River cart holding all of my dreams got lost in the madness of a politician's scheme. Will we rise or fall, or just get lost in time, like a piece of my heart gone with the Red River cart. His words still burn like a prairie fire, like a wind in the night. And Louis gone forever, with a piece of my heart gone with the Red River cart. That Red River cart holding all of my dreams got lost in the madness of a politician's scheme. Will we rise or fall, or just get lost in time, like a piece of my heart gone with the Red River cart, like a piece of my heart gone with the Red River cart, like a piece of my heart gone with the Red River cart.
Okay, well, that was a rousing number by Jess Lee, the Métis troubadour from Alberta. Used to live in Vancouver. Anyway, we're looking at the closeout here of the Métis Matters radio show. There's a couple of minutes to 6. Darrell Piper from the Vancouver Métis Cultural Society. You got a couple of 300 members. How many members of yours are going to turn out at the MNGA?
Well, so far there's 10 that have said they're going to confirm coming out there.
Okay, but that's not even 10%. So,
yeah, I know.
Well, you should urge your members to come out there, observe democracy in action, if you want to call it, and see what's going on in the school and the big gym there.
Exactly.
So thanks for coming in, Darrell. We appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, Ken. And again, remember the MNGA, for the MNGA pre-meeting for the CCMC is going to be Thursday night. That's tomorrow night, February the 17th. At the Best Western Regency at 32110 Marshall Road in Abbotsford. And we will also be having on Friday, February 18th, from 7 to 10 p.m. at the same place, the Best Western Regency, 32110 Marshall Road in Abbotsford for the MNGA
Starting
members.
at 7 o'clock.
Starting at 7.
Okay, well, thank you very much for that. On that note, ladies and gentlemen, this is Ken Fisher saying thanks for listening. You can reach us anytime by email at novameti@shaw.ca. We'll be back reporting on the events of the MNGA next week, same time, same station, 5 o'clock Wednesday. Be sure to tune in. We'll be giving you a full report of what's happening this weekend. So maybe we'll see some of you folks out there in Abbotsford. So thanks for listening, and see you next time.
Proud to be Métis.